The first topic is ASEAN Summit of 2025, then Cyclone Montha, 6G Technology, IUCN World Heritage Outlook 4, and lastly Atmanirbhar Agriculture. The first topic that we are having is ASEAN Summit of 2025. Now, this is the 47th Summit of ASEAN and it is being held in Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. And it is being chaired by Malaysia itself. So this topic is important from prelims as well as mains point of view. Prelims में क्वेश्चन पूछे जा सकते हैं, मेंस में भी पूछा जा सकता है आपसे about the India-ASEAN relation and what should be India's approach towards the East Asian countries. India is also having a Act East Asia policy, so that is basically to collaborate with the Asian countries only. Now this topic is relevant from GS paper 2 in the section bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interest. Now what is the news here? The news is that first of all from the Indian context that our Prime Minister has attended this ASEAN Summit in the virtual form and he has regarded ASEAN countries as the cultural partner of India. Secondly, he has also emphasized that India and ASEAN countries are going to have deeper relations in the domain of maritime security in 2026. So India and ASEAN are going to work in the field of maritime security and that will be the India's approach in 2026. Now next thing is about the ASEAN Summit of this year. This is the 47th Summit of ASEAN and it is being held in Kuala Lumpur, chaired by Malaysia. Now there are three pertinent questions in front of ASEAN this year. First one is the ongoing civil war in Myanmar. This ongoing civil war is since 2021 February when the democratically elected government was removed by the military coup. After that the civil war started and it is still going on. So there is political instability in Myanmar and that is one thing which is not allowing ASEAN to move forward. And also it becomes the responsibility of other countries to ensure that the political stability is ensured in one of the member countries. The second thing is about the Thailand-Cambodia border tension which erupted this year itself. So that is another issue which is being resolved. And the third one is that now ASEAN has admitted one more member. Initially there were 10 members, now currently they are going to have 11 members and the 11th member is Timor-Leste. So Timor-Leste is the newest member of ASEAN grouping. And this becomes important for us because on ASEAN previously also UPSC has asked question and this now becomes important because one new member has been added to the ASEAN grouping. Now why ASEAN is important? First of all, ASEAN is having a population of 600 million people. That means all the 11 countries if we club together the almost population is 600 million people. Second is it contributes 6.5% of the global GDP. Thirdly, if you see on the map, ASEAN, the Asian countries or the Southeast Asian countries are between Indian Ocean on one side and the Pacific Ocean on other side. So this ASEAN countries connect the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean and major sea routes passes through these ASEAN countries. For example, Strait of Malacca, that is one of the busiest sea route which connects Indian Ocean as well as the Pacific Ocean. So these countries become very, very important. Now let's see why ASEAN was formed. ASEAN was formed in 1967 through the Bangkok Declaration because the declaration was signed in Bangkok itself. So the ASEAN Declaration or the Bangkok Declaration, that is important for you. You should remember this Bangkok Declaration. So this ASEAN grouping was formed through the Bangkok Declaration 1967 and there were 5 founding members. They were Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. So these were the founding members. Now the question comes why this grouping was formed. This grouping was formed in the era of Cold War. So in the Cold War era, this grouping was formed. The whole world was divided into 2 parts. One was the capitalist and another was the communist. So the Western countries, they were favoring the capitalist ideology and Russia, China and other countries, newly independent countries have favored the communist ideologies because they have seen the brunt of capitalism itself. Now to avoid that the Southeast Asian countries should not slide towards the communist ideology, this particular grouping was formed. And in this way also the CETA was also formed, which is the similar to NATO for the East Asia. So CETA was also formed, but CETA later on didn't work. But this ASEAN has worked over from that period itself. Now after that, this Asian countries after these 5 founding members, other countries also joined the ASEAN grouping. So let's start with the members of the ASEAN countries. First one is Indonesia. So this whole portion is Indonesia itself. Then another country is Malaysia. So this is the Malaysia part. Then third one is the Philippines. So these are Philippines. Fourth one is Singapore. Here it is Singapore. Then Thailand. Then Brunei Darussalam. So Brunei Darussalam was the first country which was admitted in 1984 after its formation. So Brunei Darussalam was formed. Then Vietnam joined ASEAN in 1995. After this, Laos, Myanmar and Cambodia joined consecutively. So Cambodia, Laos and Burma that is Myanmar, they also joined the ASEAN grouping. Then Cambodia joined in 1999. After that, after almost more than 20 years, Timor-Leste has joined this ASEAN grouping. And for Timor-Leste, it is very, very important because ASEAN provides a collective bargaining power in the world economics as well as world geopolitics. That is the basic objective of this ASEAN also. So the basic objective of ASEAN was to promote regional peace and security, accelerate economic growth, social progress and cultural development. Because it is said that if you are individual, you can be broken easily. एक कहानी हम सुनते हैं बचपन से कि अकेली लकड़ियों को तोड़ा जा सकता है, बट अगर वो लकड़ी का गुच्छा बना दिया जाए तो वो नहीं टूटता. So collective bargaining power and collectively and cooperatively working with each other gives you a better strength. So that is the basic principle behind this ASEAN grouping, and that's why it has survived since 1967. There's faster collaboration and mutual assistance is the other objective. Then maritime close cooperation with other regional and international organizations. And if you see this ASEAN grouping, you will find this South China Sea is here itself. And in the South China Sea, China, which is a major country or major economic power, now trying to become a global power, has major disputes with all the Asian countries. China is having a 9-dashed line route here, which it claims that whatever comes in this 9-dash lines is part of China's territory. And these islands which are in this 9-dash boundary also have claims from Philippines, Vietnam and other countries. So that's why it becomes very, very important for Asian countries to work collectively. That's why this group has been very, very effective. And that's why every country, whether it be USA, Australia, India, New Zealand or Japan, even China, they have tried to come closer to the ASEAN countries. Now let's move to the key organs of the ASEAN. ASEAN has 3 key organs. First is ASEAN Summit, then ASEAN Secretariat and Coordinating Council. The summit is the supreme decision-making body, and this 47th this summit that is happening, that is for this ASEAN Summit only. Then we have the Secretariat, which is the administrative arm, and third one is the Coordinating Council, which actually coordinates the policy and implementation. The headquarters of ASEAN is in Jakarta, Indonesia, and the motto is one vision, one identity and one community. Now next is major frameworks. What are the frameworks under which this ASEAN grouping is being governed? The first one is ASEAN Charter of 2008. It made ASEAN a legal entity. Then ASEAN Free Trade Agreement that was signed in 1992. And after that in 2015, the ASEAN Economic Community was signed. Now what is the difference between two? Free Trade Agreement means that trade can be done freely. There will be no restrictions with respect to tariff or any other requirements. So Free Trade Agreement means the barriers to the trade will be removed. So all the Asian countries have enjoyed the free trade agreement since 1992. That means Cambodia can sell their goods in Vietnam and Vietnam can sell their goods in Thailand. So there will be no extra tariffs or nothing, extra barriers would be put on them or conditionalities will not be put on them. Now next stage that comes is that why only goods can be transferred? Why can't we transfer capital? Why can't we transfer labor? So now they have enhanced their status to ASEAN Economic Community, in which there will be a single market and production base. That means along with the goods, now the labor and capital will also transfer freely. That means that anyone from Vietnam can go to Thailand and work there without any visa requirements or any unnecessary requirements for the work visa. And any person from Thailand can go to Cambodia or Vietnam or anywhere else in the ASEAN grouping. Also, if any person from Myanmar wants to invest in Thailand or any person from Singapore wants to invest in any other country of the ASEAN grouping, they can invest freely. So that is going to be helpful in overall economic growth of this particular region. Then we have ASEAN Regional Forum. This ASEAN Regional Forum's basic work is to collaborate with other countries like India, like USA, like China. So ASEAN grouping, ASEAN works as a one group, and it coordinates with other countries like USA, China or India through this ASEAN Regional Forum. Now we have one more group here, that is known as RCEP. RCEP means Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. This grouping was formed in 2020. This is an important one. India is not a member of this. So the member of this RCEP include, first one is ASEAN, then we have China, Japan and South Korea. So if you see in the map, China, South Korea and then there is Japan. So all these countries are forming this ASEAN grouping. उनके साथ साथ there is Australia and New Zealand. So in the north, China, South Korea and Japan. In the south, it is Australia and New Zealand. The next is the dialogue partners. So dialogue partners are clubbed as ASEAN Plus. The first grouping is ASEAN Plus 3. ASEAN Plus 3 means the ASEAN countries, along with that China, Japan and South Korea. So this is known as ASEAN Plus 3. Now 3 more countries have been added to this group, to ASEAN Plus 3. So with ASEAN Plus 3, if we add India, Australia and New Zealand, it becomes ASEAN Plus 6. Other than these, other dialogue partners include Canada, European Union, Russia, UK and USA. So you see the significance of this ASEAN grouping. Every major economy is having dialogue partnership with the ASEAN countries. So that what they have achieved by working in a coordinated manner. Now next is East Asia Summit. East Asia Summit clubs the Asian Pacific and Indo-Pacific region countries. For example, it includes first of all the Asian countries. Now they have become 11. Yesterday itself they have become 11. That's why it is written 10 here right now, but it will become 11. So you can say it is Asian 11 countries plus 8 dialogue partners. Now how to remember them? First of all, India, China, Japan and South Korea. These are from the Asia and they are having their boundaries with Indian Ocean or with the Pacific Ocean, and these are the major economies of the Asia. Then on the southern side, it is Australia and New Zealand. On the north, again Russia is there, and on the Pacific side there is USA. So you can relate it as India, then we have China, then we have Korea, then we have Japan and then we have Russia. So India, China, Korea, Japan and Russia. Then on the southern side we have Australia and New Zealand, and on the eastern side we have USA. So all these form the East Asia Summit. So there are total 18 countries. Now it has become 19 countries. Now next is India's relation with the Asian countries. First one is India started its collaboration in the sectoral partnership form. So in 1992, India became a sectoral dialogue partner with Asian countries. So sectoral means that only in certain sectors we are going to move forward. For example, we had close collaboration in trade, investment, tourism and science and technology. Then in 1996, full dialogue, India became a full dialogue partner. That means it expanded the engagement to include border, political, economical and socio-cultural cooperation also. Then in 2002, summit level partnership was achieved. That means every year India and Asian countries are going to sit together. That is a summit level partnership. So our Prime Minister, when he addressed the Asian nations, that is for this Asian summit level partnership. Then in 2012, it was again enhanced to a strategic partnership. So it marked the 20 years of dialogue, expanded cooperation to include security and defense. So India and ASEAN are also going to engage in the security and defense part also. So when our Prime Minister says that India and ASEAN are going to deepen their maritime security collaboration, that is for this strategic partnership only. The next it includes is the comprehensive strategic partnership, that is in 2022. So it deepened the cooperation in all domains, political, economical, security and cultural, for long-term regional stability and prosperity. Both ASEAN and India are facing the same challenger, that is China, which is trying to expand territorially. So both India and ASEAN have one significant objective to counter China first of all. Then secondly, the clout of India, which it has increased in the recent decades, it has also asked the ASEAN to collaborate with India. So India and ASEAN can move ahead in the terms of economy, in the terms of countering the same adversary, that is China, and also in the terms of maritime security, because India and Asian countries share the Bay of Bengal. Also, India needs to go to Pacific Ocean, that will be going through the Asian countries only. And when the Asian countries have to go for their oil imports, they have to go through the Indian Ocean only. So both India and ASEAN have multiple things to join. And secondly, both these countries have the same cultural values. Both have the same kind of culture and the social systems that we are having. Then next is Timor-Leste, that is East Timor. This is the newest member of this Asian country. Now let's see something about that also. First of all, its official name is Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, and its capital is Dili. Now area is very, very small, 15,000 square kilometers only, and its very small population of 1.4 million live here. Now the problem with this particular Timor-Leste is that it has been under colonial rule, and it was for 400 years under the occupation of Portuguese. Then in 1975 it became independent, but within 9 days of its independence, Indonesia actually acquired it, and it was under the occupation of Indonesia since till 1999. And in 2002 only, Timor-Leste became an independent country. So it has a long history of colonial subjugation. Now second thing is that why Timor-Leste wants to be part of ASEAN, what it gets from here. First of all, Timor-Leste's population is very small, 1.4 million. So by attaching with ASEAN, it gets a strategic significance. Second is that it has a poverty of 42%. 42% people of Timor-Leste are under poverty. So that a large section of the population is under poverty, and it can get benefit out of the ASEAN's economic policies. Then demography, 2/3 are under 30 years. And if this young demography is not getting enough employment opportunities, then it is going to be demographic curse. Then oil and gas main reserves are now depleting fastly. Government is aiming for economic diversification. That's why it needs to be part of ASEAN, so that it can also get benefit out of the ASEAN grouping. The next part is your turn, that you have to attempt this question and you have to put your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the next topic. The second topic we are having is Cyclone Montha. Now Cyclone Montha is a tropical cyclone. I am saying the word tropical cyclone. And it will be the first cyclone of 2025 that is going to have landfall over the Indian mass, according to IMD. That means whatever cyclones that have arisen in Bay of Bengal or in the Arabian Sea, they have not reached the India's landmass. Now this is going to be the first cyclone of 2025 which is going to have landfall over Indian landmass. So this is the context here. The relevance is GS paper 1 as well as GS paper 3. GS paper 3 is disaster and disaster management, and GS paper 1 is important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity and cyclones. Now what is the news here? The news is that Cyclone Montha, this Montha word has been given by the Philippines. So there is a system for the naming of the cyclones, and this particular name has been given by Philippines. We are going to see that how these cyclones are named. So this Cyclone Montha is expected to develop into severe cyclonic storm and cross the Andhra Pradesh coast near Kakinada. Whenever any cyclone comes to the land mass, it actually creates a lot of devastation, because there are very high speed winds are there, very heavy rainfall is there. So whichever areas are affected by cyclones, we have to go for evacuation of those areas. And in that context, the disaster management force comes into play. DMR, the Disaster Management Authority comes into force. Then IMD has warned of extremely heavy rainfall over the Andhra's upper coastal region, that is this region. Red alert has been issued for this particular region. Now going about, before that, let's see a few more things. Earlier also there have been some cyclones which have the devastating effect. The important ones include Cyclone Tetli of 2018, then Cyclone Kayant of 2016, in 2014 Hudhud cyclone was there, and in 2006 it was Ongi cyclone. So these are the important cyclones which had the landfall over the Andhra Pradesh coast, and they have much devastating effect on this area. Now let's move to what are tropical cyclones. The word tropical simply means the area which is between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So this tropical cyclones are going to be in this area only. These cyclones are of thermal origin. Thermal origin means they are formed because of the excessive heating of the sea surface. So they are thermal in origin, and the diameter may vary from 80 to 300 kilometers. Although there are certain cyclones which have only 50 kilometers diameter, but mostly the diameter is 80 to 300 kilometers. Then there are isobars. Do you know isobars? Isobars are the same pressure lines. Now, in a cyclone, the isobars are of circular nature, and these isobars are closely placed. When we say the isobars are closely placed, that means the pressure gradient is high in that region. So here, the pressure gradient force is very high. Due to this high pressure gradient force, the velocity of the winds that they achieve, it is also very high. When a high velocity is there, that simply means that it is going to have a very high devastating effect also. The next is these cyclones are named with different names in the different region. For example, in the Indian Ocean, we call them cyclones only. Now, if we move to the Pacific Ocean, on the Australia's eastern coast, they are known as Wili Wili. In Philippines, they are known as bagyos. Then in the South China Sea, they are known as typhoons. And along the Japanese coast, they are known as taifu. And in the Atlantic Ocean, they are known as hurricanes in this region. Gulf of Mexico and adjoining Caribbean Sea region, they are known as hurricanes. Now, next thing is that what are the conditions required for formation of a cyclone? So, first condition that is required is heat. The area should be heated. So, it needs a temperature above 27 degrees Celsius, and the temperature should be over the sea surface. So, it's very important, large sea surface with a temperature above 27 degrees Celsius. So, these tropical cyclones are not formed on land. Land पे tropical cyclone नहीं बनते. As soon as a tropical cyclone reaches the land, it actually dies down. So, the tropical cyclone is going to formed only over the sea or the water surface with a temperature more than 27 degrees Celsius. Second thing, it needs Coriolis force. If the Coriolis force is not there, then the cyclone will not be formed. That's why the equator is having no cyclone. On equator, no cyclone is formed because Coriolis force at equator is 0. Coriolis force is required for bending the winds. For example, there is a low pressure that has developed due to intense heating of the sun. When this low pressure has developed, then the winds are going to move towards this low pressure. And if we talk about the northern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere, winds are diverted towards the right direction. For example, you might have read about the planetary winds. In the planetary winds, the winds are diverted towards the right. That's why we have westerlies in the temperate zone and northeast trade winds in the tropical zone. So winds are diverted towards the right. So if we talk about the right of this one, the right is here. इसका right यहाँ पर होगा. Now this wind's right will be here and this wind's right will be here. So in this manner, these winds are circulating about this low pressure. And as the Coriolis force is more, that's why these winds are not able to breach to this low pressure zone. So low pressure zones remains intact and the wind starts circulating around that low pressure. That's why the cyclone are formed. Now next thing is there should be a minimum wind, vertical wind variation. Vertical wind variation means whenever there is heating, the winds are going to move, these convective currents are going to move upwards, and there should be no vertical winds in this manner because these winds are going to deflect the whole cyclonic activity. Then there should be upper divergence also. Upper divergence means that at a height of 9 to 15 kilometers, the winds should start diverging towards all sides. So there should be an anti-cyclone in the upper atmosphere. There should be a cyclone in the lower atmosphere. Now next comes is the structure of the cyclone. The structure of the cyclone is very simple. There is a center area known as eye of the cyclone. This center area is having calm conditions because the air is here, the air is subsiding towards the low pressure. Whereas at the end of the eye, there is a portion known as eye wall. This eye wall is having very fast moving winds because mostly the winds are rising from this region and the incoming winds are also rising along with it. So this eye wall region is having the maximum wind velocity. That's why it is maximum devastating also. Then the diameter is 80 to 300 kilometers. Speed is between 300 to 500 kilometers per day. That means when the cyclone is moving, this whole wind system is moving. This cyclone has moved from here to here. So that speed is 300 to 500 kilometers per day. Now basically the structure involves one eye and there is one area that is known as eye wall. Eye is having calm conditions. Eye wall is having very high wind velocity. And when the air is rising in this eye wall, after reaching a height, it turns into cumulonimbus clouds and there is heavy rainfall. So there are rain bands that are formed along this eye wall. So this is the structure of a tropical cyclone. Now next is how do we classify the tropical cyclones? The tropical cyclones are classified on the basis of the wind velocity that has been achieved. First one is tropical depression. That simply means the wind velocity is very small. So it is the first stage of formation of a tropical cyclone. Then tropical storm, the second stage, if the wind velocity is reached up to 63 km per hour, then it is known as tropical storm. Now if the wind velocity further rises to 120 kilometers, then it is a tropical cyclone. So 63 to 120 km is the wind speed in a tropical cyclone. And lastly, hurricanes and typhoons, which are having a wind velocity more than 120 km per hour speed. Now next thing is naming of the cyclones in the Indian Ocean region. Now naming is done by WMO or World Meteorological Organization and United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific panel on the tropical cyclone. Now this panel is having 13 countries. Those countries are going to give 8 names for particular naming of the cyclones. Now when we are giving those names, when the names are being given, if a particular name has been taken for the cyclone naming, then that name has to be replaced. For example, currently the cyclone name that we are having was given by Philippines. Now this particular name will be replaced and Philippines is going to give a substitute for this name which will be used in later phase. The implementing agency for the Indian Ocean region is Indian Meteorological Department at New Delhi, which is the regional specialized meteorological center for the North Indian Ocean. Now, the countries which are giving their names include India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Pakistan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Iran, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE and Yemen. Now what I mean to say is that अगर कोई cyclone यहाँ पे आएगा, so that cyclone, how that cyclone will be named? That cyclone will be named only when the speed has risen above 63 kilometers per hour. So first of all, if any kind of tropical depression or low pressure area has been created, it will not be named as cyclone. The name cyclone will be given only when the speed is above 63 kilometers per hour for 3 minutes. तो पहली कंडीशन तो यह है कि साइक्लोन की स्पीड इतनी होनी चाहिए तभी उसको नाम दिया जाएगा. नाउ नेमिंग कैसे होगी? नेमिंग होगी अल्टरनेट मैनर में. For example, India has given 8 names for the cyclones. Then Bangladesh has given 8 names. Then Myanmar has given 8 names. Pakistan has given 8 names. So every country has given their own set of names. Now from this list, the name will be taken alphabetically. For example, first comes Bangladesh. So मान लो Bangladesh has given the name Titli. For example, I am just telling. For example, Bangladesh has given the name Titli. So first of all, Titli will be taken. Then the second country which comes in alphabetical order, that name will be taken. Then the third country, that's alphabetical order, that name will be taken. तो जैसे साइक्लोन आते जाएंगे इस लिस्ट में से हम नाम चूज करते जाएंगे और जैसे ही तितली वर्ड को हमने यूज किया ये अब एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा एंड बांग्लादेश हैज टू अगेन गिव न्यू नेम. तो जो आगे यूज होगा. तो इन दिस मैनर द नेमिंग ऑफ द साइक्लोन्स इज बीइंग डन. Now it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the third topic. The third topic we are having is 6G technology. Now what is the context here? Context is that India is targeting that we should be pioneer in the 6G technology. The topic is relevant from GS paper 3, awareness in the field of IT, space, computer, robotics, nanotechnology and biotechnology. Now India wants कि हम लोग IT field में भी सबसे आगे आएं. We should be pioneer in that. For example, we have shown in defense sector how much reliable our technology is. So in this context, the principles that are going to guide our innovation in 6G will be affordability, sustainability and ubiquity. Affordability means that every citizen should be able to use that 6G technology. Second is sustainability. We should make the technology so cheap, or you can so affordable that it should be sustainable. It should not be a burden on the government. The third one is ubiquity. Ubiquity means that it should reach to every portion of the country, to the remotest areas, to the mountains, to the interiors of the plateaus and to the tribal areas, so that everyone can take benefits out of the 6G technology. Now, this is going to be part of our broader objective of Viksit Bharat by 2047. So 6G technology is going to be part of that also. Now, next is what is the difference between 4G, 5G and 6G. So basically, जब भी हम लोग एक जंप लेते हैं किसी भी मोबाइल नेटवर्क टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर, so there is increase in the speed, there is decrease in the latency. Latency का मतलब ये है कि whatever command you give and that commands appear after some time, or whatever message you send, that message takes some time to be sent. So उसे बोलते हैं latency. So as we are increasing, as we are moving forward in the technology part, the latency is reducing, the speed is increasing. So that is the difference between the 4G, 5G and 6G. Let's see that also. 4G was introduced in 2019, 5G in 2009 in 4G, 2019 5G, and 2030 we are targeting that by 2030 we should be having the 6G technology. Now primary goal of 4G is mobile internet, high definition videos and voice over the internet protocol. For 5G we go for ultra fast connectivity. Then Internet of Things, you know that for example smart TV है आज के टाइम पे, there is smart refrigerator, there is smart washing machine, there is smart ACs, जिसको आप मोबाइल से कंट्रोल कर सकते हो, जिसको आप इंटरनेट से कंट्रोल कर सकते हो, that is IoT. Then for smart cities, now 6G is ultra low latency, that means the latency is less than 1 microsecond. AI enabled, AI को integrate कर सकता है. And immersive experiences. For example, we can have the holographic communication through it. Holographic communication का मतलब ये है कि 3D image के साथ we can have the collaboration, have the interaction. जैसे we go for video conferencing, तो it is through the screen. Now, holographic communication का मतलब ये है कि there will be 3D image in front of us and we can communicate with each other in the real time. So that is going to be the objective of this 6G. Now, if we talk about the speed, the peak download speed for 4G is up to 1 Gbps. For 5G, it is up to 10 to 20 Gbps. But for 6G, it will be in terabits per second. That means 1000 gigabits per second. So that is going to be the speed of 6G. Then in terms of latency, 4G is having 50 ms microsecond latency. Then this 5G is having 1 to 10 microsecond latency. But 6G is going to have a latency less than 1 microsecond. So that is one more benefit of the 6G. Then the network response. The network response for the 6G will be real-time remote surgeries can be done. So you can achieve that in those conditions in which we are having direct communication regarding the surgeries. When a person's life is on stake, those type of surgeries will be done in a real-time manner. That means whatever command the doctor is giving, that will be immediately followed by the staff. Smart robots and AI driven networks will be there. Then I have told you holographic communication can be done. Then immersive VR, AR. VR means virtual reality and AR means augmented reality. Remote surgery, space communication, everything can be done. So the spectrum efficiency for 6G will be extremely high. It will be AI optimized and it will be having a high amount of speed and a very, very low latency. So this word low latency is important here. Now next is India's initiative in 6G. First of all, India is having a 6G vision in which India is targeting it has to become a global leader in 6G by 2030. And principles we have already discussed: affordability, sustainability and ubiquity. Then initiatives for which this हमने initiative क्या लिए हैं इसके लिए 6G terahertz test bed and advanced optical communication test bed for R&D. Then we are having 100 5G labs for testing that. Approved 104 research proposals on 6G network ecosystem. Then there is a fund known as Telecom Technology Development Fund. This is important. This you should remember. You can quote in your answers also. This was launched in 2022, and 115 projects has been approved, amounting to 310.6 crore rupees for this 6G network. Then we are having a Bharat 6G mission also. The goal is global leadership in 6G wireless communication. It will be including innovators, research, startups and policymakers. Then next is Bharat 6G Alliance, that is an industry-led body which is having members, telecom providers are there, academia is there, research institutions are there and standard organizations are there. The focus will be on indigenous 6G R&D, then multi-chip modules, SoCs, advanced IoT applications. So this is the these are the initiatives that the government is taking. Now it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box, and let's move to the fourth topic. Now the fourth topic is IUCN World Heritage Outlook 4. At times the IUCN takes cognizance that the world natural heritage sites, what kind of threats they are facing and how much urgently the action is required. In this context, this outlook report has been put out. Now this World Heritage Outlook report has pointed out that in India, the Western Ghats along with 2 more sites are facing grave threats and urgently actions are required so that their ecology can be preserved. Now this topic is relevant from GS paper 3, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment, etc. Now about the news, this IUCN has categorized the natural world heritage sites under significant concern. Now in the significant concern category, 3 sites have been put out: Western Ghat, Manas National Park and Sundarban. Now you have to tell me where is this Manas National Park situated. So that you can put in the comment box. Sundarbans, I hope this you know, but you should be writing down that where this Sundarban is situated. So you have to answer me that where is the Manas National Park situated and where is the Sundarban situated. Now let's go to the report itself. This World Heritage Outlook 4 report, it has analyzed 200 natural and mixed sites in Asia, and it has categorized those sites into four categories. First one is good, that means they are not of much concern. The things there are going on well. Then good with some concerns, that means some kind of activity is happening which is affecting the ecology. So there need to be some kind of attention regarding the enforcement of the rules. Then significant concern, that means these areas are going to deplete in further if no action is taken upon their ecological conservation. Then critical simply means then they are on the verge of collapse. So if the action is not taken immediately, the ecology is going to collapse in those regions. Also on basis of these 4 categories have been defined. Now the 3 names that we studied, Western Ghats, then Manas National Park and the Sundarbans come under this significant concern category. Now next is World Heritage Outlook 4 report. What are the key findings? The key findings involve that 40% of the site faced conservation concerns. Climate change is the most prevalent threat. So climate change is now real and it is affecting our ecology. Then positive conservation outlook declined from 63 to 57%. So there was a positive conservation outlook was there. That means these sites have a positive potential. Those sites have declined from 63% to 57%. Then what are the threats? Initially the threat was hunting. Now in 2025 the threat has changed. Climate change is the most important threat. Then tourism, invasive alien species and infrastructure development. These are the major concerns regarding the ecological threat these World Heritage sites are facing. Then other threats include forest fires, road kills. Road kills means animals which are killed on the roads because of this infrastructure development projects that are going on through these national parks or ecologically sensitive zones. Then waste disposal, because waste is being dumped into these forests or the ecological sites. Then encroachment, illegal logging and road construction. Then next is the protected areas in India. Some areas have been said as good with some concerns like Great Himalayan National Park, Kaziranga, Kaldev, then Nanda Devi and Valley of Flower National Park. So these regions are as such good, they have a good ecology, but still there are some concerns. There are certain areas which need focus of the authorities. So that should be done. One site has been defined as the good site, that is Kanchenjunga National Park in Sikkim. So This is the overall report. Now, Western Ghats biodiversity, why it is important for us? It is important because it is having high endemism. Endemism means there's those animals and plants are only found in Western Ghat, nowhere else in the world. So it is having a high amount of endemism. That means there are exotic varieties of the plants and animals, or flora and fauna, which is found nowhere in the world. If their habitat is affected, that means we are going to lose them forever. Then there is species richness also. It is having a very high biodiversity. A large amount of species are there. It hosts 325 globally threatened species, and iconic one is Nilgiri tahar. It is an important species. You are going to read in ecology also. So Nilgiri tahar is important one that you should be remembering. Now, what are the significant concerns regarding this Western Ghats? First of all, hydropower projects, then tourism, human-animal conflict, plantation replacing natural ecosystem, climate change, and invasive species. Now, next is Sundarbans. What are the concerns regarding Sundarban? First is heavy metal contamination and sea level rise and storm surges in the area. Then World Heritage Sites. What is the significance? The World Heritage Sites, for example, Western Ghat is there, Sundarbans is there, or Great Himalayan National Park is there. They cover only 1% or less than 1% of the Earth's surface, but more than 20% of the species are found in these regions only. So they are having a very, very high species richness in this 1% area. Then they include 75,000 plant species and 30,000 vertebrate species. UNESCO and IUCN has aims to halt biodiversity loss through the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. This framework you should be remembering. This is important. Then it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you have to put your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the fifth topic. Now, the last topic we are having in the decoded section is Atmanirbhar Agriculture. Now, in this, we are talking about the regenerative agriculture. What is this regenerative agriculture? What is the concept and how it is different from the sustainable agriculture? So that we are going to see, and what potential India has to go for this regenerative agriculture and how it is going to help us in Atmanirbhar Bharat agriculture, Atmanirbhar Bharat, or the Atmanirbhar agriculture, that is self-sufficient agriculture in the country. Because if we see, we are self-sufficient in grains, even we are exporting grains like wheat and rice, but we are importing pulses. And that the pulses are important for our nutrition security. So we need to become Atmanirbhar in agriculture. That means we need to ensure that our nutrition security is being ensured by our own agriculture rather than depending upon the imports. Now, relevance is GS paper 3 agriculture. So let's go. The World Food Day 2025 was celebrated on October 16th, and this October 16th this year marked the 80th year of Food and Agriculture Organization of UN. The theme was hand in hand for better food and better future. This is important. Now, it emphasized upon the collective responsibility among nations, farmers, business, and policymakers to build resilient and nutritious food system. Because world today is facing two problems. One is climate change, which is affecting the agriculture directly. Agriculture is very, very sensitive to the climate change. Secondly, our population is now more than 8 billion. So in this context, it becomes very important for us to have nutritional as well as food security. Food security is like just feeding, just giving the calories. Nutritional security means that you are supplying all the nutrients that are required by the body, micro as well as macro. So we now have to focus upon nutritional food security rather than just food or calorie based food security. Now, in this context, regenerative agriculture becomes important. Regenerative agriculture focuses upon soil health, biodiversity, and ecosystem resilience. So let's see this in detail. So the regenerative agriculture is defined as holistic farming approach that aims to restore and enhance the soil health. The first element is soil health. हमें soil यानी मिट्टी को हमें restore भी करना, उसे preserve भी करना, उसको enhance भी करना nutritionally. Then biodiversity, we need to restore and enhance the biodiversity. Third one is ecosystem resilience. We need to build our ecosystem resilient to other things. So we need to have more diversity in the ecosystem. The ecosystem should not be fragile, it should be resilient. Then while ensuring sustainable food production. Now, एक चीज होती है sustainability. One thing is sustainability, one thing is regenerative agriculture. Now, इन दोनों में difference क्या है? Sustainability focuses upon avoiding the negative impact. For example, we need to avoid those actions which make the ecosystem fragile. We need to avoid those actions which are leading to climate change, which are leading to more greenhouse gases, which are leading to soil depletion, which are leading to soil salinization or soil alkalinization, or which are affecting biodiversity in a negative manner. But regenerative means that we, along with avoiding the negative part, we are also having a positive part. We need to restore and enhance. So here the word enhance is important. So on one side, we are restricting those activities which are having negative impact, and instead of those negative actions, we are having positive actions which are going to enhance the soil health or enhance the biodiversity. So that is the meaning of regenerative agriculture. Now, regenerative agriculture, what are the core principles? First of all, minimal soil disturbance should be there. We need to reduce erosion, maintain the soil structure. For example, zero tillage and conservation tillage are the techniques which can be employed here. Then diverse crop rotation and cover crops, increase soil fertility and disrupt the pest cycles, prevent soil from being left bare, reducing erosion. Then integration of livestock, controlled grazing returns nutrients to the soil through manure. Then maintaining soil cover, mulch, crop residues, crop cover protect soil from degradation. So these things have to be done. Then chemical inputs should be reduced, because chemicals affect the soil in negative manner. It affects the soil biodiversity and soil flora in a negative manner. Then agroforestry and biodiversity restoration has to be done. Now, if we talk about the world, why we need this regenerative agriculture? Because our population is now more than 8.2 billion today, which was only 1 billion in 1804. So it has become 8-fold in in 100 years. It has become 8 times. That means it has become 800% of the 19th century. And only 29% of the earth's surface is land, out of which only 10.7% is under farming. And if we talk about India, India has a very good advantage here, that 52% of India's land is arable. Although India's population is high, but also we are having a large amount of arable land, that means which can be brought under agriculture. Agriculture employs 46% of the workforce, and we are going for a manner in which is not sustainable. So we need to ensure sustainability also. It calls for systematic solutions like innovation and collaboration. Now next is, what should be our approach? There is a 4P approach. One is policy, product, practice and partnership. That you should be remembering. First is policy, product, then practice and partnership. What is policy? That is by the government. So supportive governance reform should be there. For example, MSP we are having. MSP is having a negative impact on the pulses, because it is trying to give more priority to the wheat and rice. So in this context, we should either be having no MSP, or we should be having MSP for all the crops, so that farmers' remuneration can be ensured, as well as our crop health can also be ensured. The crop diversification and the cropping pattern should not be affected by these governance policies. Then products, we should be having innovative technologies like and seeds that should be employed, so that we can, for example, innovative technologies include micro irrigation or good varieties of the seeds, so that are come under the product. Then practice, sustainable and efficient farming methods should be employed. And partnership, collaboration in the public, private and scientific communities is required, so that we can achieve the agricultural transformation, and these are going to be helpful in regenerative agriculture also. Then if we talk about the green revolution itself, green revolution although has helped us in overcoming the food security issue, but it has created new problems that are related with ecology, because the soil health is now declining. Use of the chemical fertilizers, use of the pesticides, use of the heavy irrigation, that has resulted in soil salinization, soil erosion and soil degradation. And the most affected states are Punjab. We have Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, which are mostly affected by it. And one more point that has been mentioned here is that the soil's organic carbon has declined to less than 0.3%, which should be ideally around 1%. And that is due to this use of chemical fertilizers. And when the chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides are being used, it is leading to pollution of the soil as well as of the groundwater and the nearby water bodies. So the pollution is not only for the soil, the degradation is not only for the soil, it is also for the water bodies that are surrounding it. Also, it is leading to pollution of the air, because there are certain chemicals which actually evaporates, which becomes gaseous or which becomes vapors when they are being applied. So it is affecting the soil, water as well as air pollution. Now, nutrition and Atmanirbharta in pulses and oilseed. Now, one thing that we have is that we have traditionally been good growers of the oil seeds and the pulses. पल्सेस को बोला भी जाता था कि दाल गरीब या आम आदमी का खाना, दाल रोटी से वो काम चला लेगा. Now, pulses have become very costly. Why? Because our cropping pattern or cropping system have changed. Initially, we used to grow pulses. Now we are mainly dependent upon wheat and rice. So in this context, pulses need to be brought back. First of all, it need to be brought back for our nutrition security. The second thing is that it is also going to help in regenerative agriculture. Why? Because pulses are leguminous crops. They help in regenerating the soil health. So they help in fixing nitrogen in a natural manner. It improves the soil fertility. Also, the inputs required by pulses are very, very less. So those inputs, if the fewer inputs are required, that means we need less amount of fertilizers, we need less amount of pesticides. So our soil health will be restored. So on one hand, we are avoiding those chemicals which affect the soil health in negative manner. Also, we are growing those crops which are contributing positively to the soil health. So in this context, pulses become important for us. Then for achieving self-sufficiency, we need crop neutral incentives. For example, equal market support should be provided to crops and oilseed along with rice and wheat. High investment in agriculture R&D is also required for boosting productivity and resilience. Then what will be the benefit of the self-sufficiency? They are very simple. Nutritional security will be there, then it will promote regenerative agriculture, it will have ecological benefits, and it is going to heal our soils also. Because if you go to the ground level, you will find that in Punjab, Haryana, as well in the northern Rajasthan, they are facing the problems of soil degradation. The soil has to be left behind, the land has to be left fallow because the soil health is not good there. That's why we have to brought the soil health card like schemes. So in this manner, this regenerative agriculture or growing oilseeds and pulses are going to help. They are going to heal the soil, they are going to conserve the water, they are going to reduce air pollution and enhance the biodiversity in the region. Now, based upon this, you can attempt this mains question and attempt this one and bring this answer to us. With this, we conclude for the day. Thank you very much.